This week on the pod, we're bringing it back to the sounds of the early 70s with Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie, Licorice Pizza, right here on Haven't Seen It.
Haven't Seen It with Tim Sestito and Tommy Tevenay. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. Thank you all so much for listening to us today. We appreciate you. And if Tommy is telling me this correctly, he just checked our Instagram and we are 3 followers away from 150. So
We're
big
getting
milestone, big milestone coming up. Go on Instagram at SeenItPod. Give us a follow. We make some pretty good posts on there. Same on Twitter at SeenItPod. And while you're at it, head over to wherever you're listening to, Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever. Leave us a 5-star review. Maybe even subscribe. I don't know, but it would be big help to us. We're trying to grow. Every one of those things counts. So thank you to everybody who has already done that, and to the people that are now doing it because they heard me tell them to do it. Thank you.
Good job, guys. We believe in you.
So Tommy and I saw Licorice Pizza together. It's our first movie that we're recording on the pod that we got to actually see together. How did it feel, Tommy?
It felt very magical. You know, we got to go to the movie theater together. First time in a while we've done that together either, too. So had a fun time. What about you?
Yeah, it was a great time. This was my 3rd time seeing Licorice Pizza. I have not seen it since November though, so I definitely needed to retouch upon it before we were able to dive deep into this.
Yeah, jog the memory a little bit.
Yeah, definitely jog the memory, and I'm really glad we did. We then got to go and watch the end of the Bengals Chiefs game. Tommy, how big of a Joe Burrow fan are you now, Mr. Joe Cool?
I'm just glad the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl and not the Chiefs, because the Chiefs just, I don't know. Not a fan of Patrick. Not a big fan of Patrick Mahomes, or specifically Patrick Mahomes' girlfriend pouring champagne on people in the fucking middle of the winter.
Yeah, she's not a great look, but that's what we did yesterday.
It's sports talk now.
It's sports talk now. That's how we spent our first outing as a podcast. We had 2 friends along who were there. It was totally a podcast event and not 4 friends going to see a movie. It was really magical.
They became part of our homework, so we brought them along.
Yes, exactly. And that's why today we're covering Licorice Pizza.
Everyone's talking about Licorice Pizza these days, right? That's because it's the greatest thing to happen in movies since the invention of sound.
Everyone wants those advance tickets.
Yes, it's the new hit film from Paul Thomas Anderson with Alana Haim and Cooper Hoffman.
Yellow.
Sean Penn, Tom Waits,
Coming in hot.
Bradley Cooper, Benny Safdie, and some special guests.
I'm John Peters. My only problem in life is I don't love tail too much. Is that your sister?
Advance tickets to select theaters in Los Angeles and New York are on sale now. So you're going to want to go to licoricepizzamovie.com and you're going to want to figure out some tickets. Licorice Pizza in select theaters November 26th, everywhere Christmas Day, rated R.
So Tommy, this is your first time seeing Licorice Pizza. You're the one who hasn't seen it. Let's leave it a little spoiler free for maybe some of our friends who haven't seen it yet and want to get a general idea of our thoughts of it before we dive deeper in. Tell me, how did you enjoy Licorice Pizza?
So I really, really love this movie. It reminds me of some of my favorite 70s hangout movies, like Days Confused is one I bring up a lot, and a lot of Richard Linklater stuff like that. Like everybody wants more of just general vibe where you're just interacting with the characters, and the characters are people you want to be around with, you want to hang out with, you want to be in that world. And as someone who always loves the 70s movies like this and Almost Famous, this was another good one. This is another great one. I'm really glad that we saw it.
Yeah, I will echo that sentiment. I haven't seen everything that I need to see for 2021 yet, but I will say that this was easily my favorite of 2021, and I don't know what could possibly top this as my favorite of the year. This movie's a fever dream from start to finish. Everything about it goes in one direction. It's a nonstop action-packed adventure with no action, if that makes sense. All the scenes and all the sequences are so vivid. It's shot so well. The soundtrack and the score are incredible. It to me, it was a complete picture, and I think we don't get a lot of that now, and especially in like the rom-com category, because this was essentially a hangout rom-com movie, as you were saying, with the hangout movies of the 70s, like the Linklaters. Uh, that that's my thoughts. I absolutely adored this movie. If you haven't seen it, go to a theater and see it. If you can't go to a theater, you can probably find it video on demand on Amazon or something. They do a lot of those movies are now available there.
I gotta imagine this comes on video pretty soon. So
Yeah, the December release, and we're releasing this podcast in February. It's going to be up for Oscars. It's going to be up for Oscars. If you want to get prepped for Oscars early, definitely check out Licorice Pizza.
100%. So this movie was up for the Golden Globes recently. Alana Haim was nominated for a Golden Globe, and she's great. Haim, I always forget it. As someone who
Aren't
loves,
they one of your favorite bands? How do you?
they're
forget?
one of my favorite bands, but it's just one of those things you never really hear the name when you're listening to the band, so you always just fuck it up a little bit. But yeah, I've seen them now 4 times. Haim or Ham. I'm going to Ham for us podcast. Ham is the one of the people in the band. Ham is in the movie as the star, Alana Haim. She's really great in this movie. Just really naturalistic performance. First time she's ever been in a movie or TV show, really acting outside of like a music video for her band. And she was a great captivating lead. I mean, I'm really excited to see what she goes for next. Yeah.
Yeah, she was fantastic in it. And along with Cooper Hoffman, who is Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, and Paul Thomas Anderson and Philip Seymour Hoffman famously had a fantastic working relationship. They were terrific friends, and this is his first movie. And he is great. It's very naturalistic rhythm. I really liked the idea of pairing 2 inexperienced actors together to give that naturalistic performance, because I think they are able to work well off each other, because they're probably in between takes and stuff. They're both making the same mistakes. The level of nerves are both there for them because they don't want to mess it up. And then they're surrounded by a cavalcade of cast here. We have Sean Penn, Tom Waits, Bradley Cooper, Benny Safdie, just to name a few. Just to name a few that have a fairly prominent role in the movie. That kind of diction that they're able to go back and forth, it's really sweet. And I mean, we're about to dive into spoilers, guys.
So heavy spoiler warning for a movie that doesn't really have that much plot. So
yeah, if you care.
Oh, spoiler alert.
So the idea, the premise of the movie, which is a touch taboo, is that Alana Haim works at Twinkle Toes, right? That's what it was called. It's like a school photography thing, and she's at Gary Valentine's high school as a 25-year-old working as a photo assistant, kind of going nowhere in life. And Gary Valentine starts flirting with her aggressively and convinces her to meet her out for dinner. And they kind of rip the Band-Aid right off the bat with it too. Like, I think they say in the first scene, this is illegal. We cannot do this.
Yeah, so you didn't really touch upon this that much, but Gary Valentine himself is a 15-year-old kid who's hit on someone 10 years his senior. So it's one of those things. To it. Yeah. So, well, there you go. There's the buildup.
Yeah, it's taboo. There are people that do not like this movie strictly because of that age gap, and they just can't get over it. But I think it's one of those things that it's only there to challenge you and like your preconceptions. There's no need for it other than the fact that it's taboo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those things that also like the way they handle it. It's a very delicate way that in the wrong hands, this could come off as a very creepy movie where it's just like, oh God, this just feels like the movie to an extent already feels slimy, but this would have made it like to an extra push if it was turned around the other way and it was Alana Haim's character hitting on the 15-year-old kid in the beginning of the movie, then this would be a movie where we'd be like, what am I watching right now? But the way they reverse it, where it's the 15-year-old hitting on the 25-year-old, I don't know, it makes it a little better, at least when I'm watching the movie.
Well, I think this clip right here kind of, this is a good example of one, the chemistry they have here, and two, why it works.
What are your plans?
I don't know.
What's your future look like?
I don't know.
How do you like working at Tiny Toes?
I hate working at Tiny Toes.
You should start your own business.
What business should I be in?
I don't know. What do you like?
I don't know.
You're an actress. You should be an actress.
So how'd you become such a hotshot actor?
I'm a showman. It's my calling. I don't know how to do anything else. It's what I'm meant to do. I mean, ever since I was a kid, I've been a song and dance man.
Come on. Ever since you were a kid. Song and dance man. Where are your parents?
My mom works for me.
Oh, of course she does.
Yes, she does,
That
in my
makes
public
sense.
relations company.
In your public relations company? Because you have that.
Yes.
And you're an actor.
Yes.
And you're a secret agent too.
Well, no, I'm not a secret agent. That's funny.
This is the beginning of the movie, but I think it shows the distinction between the characters there. Gary's a hustler. Like, he's a street-born hustler throughout this entire movie. He's a child actor star. And when I say that, I said at the beginning, this movie's a fever dream. Within the first 15 minutes, you are flown to New York, and Gary Valentine is dressed in pajamas with a traveling act of kids doing this very like 1950s song and dance routine from some movie with like a pillow fight on the stage, and it only goes from there. After that, he starts his own waterbed business. He walks into like, he walks into like a wig shop and just sees a waterbed, and it's like, what if I started that business?
So do you know who plays the guy who sells in the waterbed in the movie?
Who?
Leonardo DiCaprio's father.
Okay, that's who I thought it was. I saw it was who, Jack
Oh, like you
DiCaprio?
knew.
No, well, I saw DiCaprio. I made the assumption of the relationship. I didn't know for a fact.
Yeah.
But I think the chemistry is really strong there. And I think you can kind of hear it in that too. I wonder if that was one of the earlier scenes that they shot, because it would make sense where they don't know each other that well yet. Let's shoot that, especially with inexperienced actors. I think it comes off really, really well there. You can sense that she knows it's wrong in her voice, that she's sitting there with this kid.
She's like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, but the intentions are clear. Okay, Gary has a plan in life. He's a child actor. He's a hustler. He's a street-born hustler. Alana's working at Tiny Toes at 25, taking pictures of school kids, and she has no idea what she wants to do with her life at 25. Now, typically, you would find those roles reversed in a movie, but when you invert them on the ages and you make Gary the hustler chasing the older girl, it doesn't make it okay. Of course not. But if you're watching a movie, you can take the blinders off and just go, okay, I can just enjoy this because this isn't like a predatory situation here. And he actually helps her.
Yeah, and it never comes off as like creepy or like very weird, even though as premise it kind of is to an extent where it's like, okay. But the chemistry between the two actors is so great when like you're not really thinking about that, and you're thinking more, Alana, they don't really make her character the best person in the world. They really basically say like, hey, this person's in kind of like Arrested Development limbo right now, where like she's in that weird in between phase after college. I don't even think she graduated college, this character, but where she's like, what am I gonna do with my life? I have no fucking clue what's going on. Just pretty much just going around and doing nothing. It's just like, oh, this 15-year-old kid's hitting on me. Fine, I'll call his bluff right now and see if he wants to actually go to this restaurant.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that really works to quell the age gap is because the younger one seems so much more mature than the older one. It helps you ease you, the viewer, into the movie. And then he's also kind of lifting her out from endless, like this never-ending endlessness of her life, where she's just stuck taking pictures of kids. Like, I wouldn't want to be doing that at 25. And she becomes his partner in his waterbed business. She goes out for movie auditions. There's that great scene with the child actress casting or agent, the movie agent. You know what scene I'm talking about?
What, the one of Sean Penn or
No, not the one with Sean Penn. The one with Mary. It's Harriet Sampson Harris plays Mary Grady.
Yeah. So that's a great scene where she's basically just like telling Alana, just like, okay, like, how are you going to be an actress? Like, what are you going to do right here? What's going on? What can you do? What can you say? And what's his name? Cooper Hoffman's character. I'm always Gary. He's like, just say yes to everything. So she's like, can you horseback ride? Yes. Can you speak Spanish? Can you speak Portuguese? Can you speak French? Yes. It just gets more comically over the top where it's just like, okay, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's funny too, because there's one scene where it's like, yeah, and I also know the Israeli arts of Krav Maga, and she's like, what is that, honey? And she goes, well, it's basically I can stab somebody's eye with a pen. And she just like breaks down. You know what you are? You're a goddamn fighter. You come in here so pretty, so beautiful, and with that Jewish nose. Like, they were very blunt and very 70s about like the way people treated race back then, and especially in a place like Hollywood where you are judged on everything about your appearance because that is what is being portrayed on the screen.
Yeah.
She was very blunt about it, but I like was crying laughing when she does that. You're like a goddamn pit bull with a Jewish nose.
That scene is so great too, because it's like almost tension when you're first watching it, where like, is she gonna tell like Alana, get the fuck out of my office right now? But instead, like, she ends up just buying it and just going for it, and just like, yeah, I love this girl, she's amazing.
Yeah, it was apparent there that that's where the kind of like the switch in the movie came, because after Gary does his trip to New York, he comes back and does an audition for like an ad read, and he's twice the size of everybody in the casting room, and he walks in and it's Maya Rudolph, who is Paul Thomas Anderson's wife, but they're not legally married, but they call each other husband and wife, and they have like kids together, but they're like the slimy casting directors for like commercials and stuff like that. And he does his whole run, and then Maya Rudolph just makes the face as he walks in, because and he's giving the whole spiel like, you still got it, Gary, you still got it. And then he walks out and she just turns to him and goes like, she just like lowers her lip and goes like just like,
yeah, just like, what is going on?
Why was this guy in here? And then he's no longer an actor from that point in the movie.
Yeah, where it's very clearly like where Gary is very ambitious, to say the least. I mean, at this point in the movie, or the movie in general, he has like 2 or 3 businesses that he starts up from scratch. So
the waterbed, it's 2 businesses and the acting career.
Yeah,
but he runs like a PR company with his mom, who is played by that was the waitress, right?
Yeah, the waitress from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I can't recall her name.
Mary Elizabeth Ellis something.
Yeah, isn't she married to Charlie Day too?
Yeah, so that's another great thing where it's just
a lot of little cameos, including the great John C. Reilly. He makes a 1-second cameo in this movie, and
playing Fred Gwynn from the Monsters fame, also from one of my favorite horror movies, Pet Sematary.
Yeah,
but yeah, so, it's one of those.
He was dressed up as Herman Munster at a teen convention. And you just if he didn't say a line of audio, you'd have no idea he was there. But then you just hear that John C. Reilly voice, and you're like, motherfucker, that's John C. Reilly right there.
If I remember correctly, his one line too was like, "Yes, I'm the real Herman Munster."
Something like that. Because I think he would famously go to those conventions. Like, he went to the Comic Cons before all the washed up celebrities started going to Comic Con to make money off signatures.
Yeah. Well, hey, dude, they make fucking bank. Like, we're thinking about. But I went to HorrorCon like back in September, and like Matthew Lillard, for example, charged $100 for signatures, and he had a line going out the door. He probably made like at least almost 6 figures just from signatures alone that day.
He did not make six figures that day. You're wildly overestimating.
I know
how many-
what no,
You-
I think there's about like at least like hundreds of people, but he made probably like maybe closer to like 50K or something like that, but still.
probably made like $15,000, but that's still a nice chunk of change for signing pieces of paper.
Yeah.
Ve-
I wish I
very
had
good,
that.
very good math, Tommy. If I ever have to launder money, I'm gonna hire you as my accountant.
That's why I'm a podcaster for movies and not for finance. Don't trust me for that.
Don't trust Tommy for that. Please don't. He only bought GameStop. That's the only stock he's ever bought.
Yeah.
But
Power to the
but-
gamers.
that shouldn't be funny, but it is.
It is. It's still.
But yeah, so from this movie is like a fever dream. I don't even know how to explain it. Kind of. I know how to, but it's hard to just kind of. It's just giving. We're just trying to paint a picture for you here. You need to experience this movie for yourself.
I guess the best way to say it is that it really is like a series of vignettes of, like I said, it's very much a hangout movie where, at the end of the day, the plot is nothing more than, living a day in the life or day in months of these two characters, Cooper Hoffman's character Gary and Alana Haim's character Alana. So really easy to remember that one. But pretty much just goes from like scene to scene to scene where it's just like, here's a crazy Hollywood cameo from someone from the 70s or based on someone from the 70s. And here's this crazy thing. Here's this crazy thing. It just goes from there to there to there. And it's not really much is happening to characters other than just reacting to the crazy shit that's going on in their life, especially in California in the 70s.
Yeah, that's a very good way to put it. It's just a glimpse of life through these characters that are doing this very 70s thing. The score is like on the nose here too. You have Peace Frog by The Doors, But Your Mind from Sonny Bono, Blue Sands from Buddy Collette, Life on Mars with David Bowie. It's really a fantastic arrangement of songs, and with the original score too. I don't want to take away from that too because it mixes in together very nicely. The sound, the music, everything. One thing I do want to mention, I want to see what your take on this is, Tommy. We just covered The Matrix. That was the last movie we covered. That was episode 5. We're on episode 6.
Yeah.
For a movie that had so much exposition in The Matrix, I don't think this movie had a line of exposition in it.
No, well, that's like what the best like hangout comedies are like that. This where they immediately expect you to jump in and be like, okay, this is what it is. Here you go. I mean, I guess the exposition was handled in a very way that was like kind of gracefully. I mean, I guess the closest we had to exposition was the scene where they're in the diner and they see Nixon talking about the gas shortage of the 1970s. That would have to be the closest thing I have to say to exposition. And even then, that was just them watching the news, and somehow it felt natural, just them hanging out and, oh shit, this thing's happening.
Yeah, I think you're right. That was the only exposition, and it was to explain the rubber shortage. But I love how they shot it too, because Gary is looking at the newspaper and Alana tries to seem smarter than she is for sure. And she's like watching the news. Do you understand what this means? And Gary is just looking at like the porn movies that are playing. Like he's just looking at the clips of like the vintage 70s pornos.
He seems
Paul
like
Thomas Anderson really does have a thing for 70s porn.
It's
He
almost like
does.
he made a whole movie about 70s porn or something. Yeah.
Wait, he did?
Yeah, what?
He did?
Yeah, I know. Shocker. Buggy Nights. Who would have ever guessed?
Oh, I would have never heard of it. I guess I just grew up in a good Christian household.
Yeah. I guess the difference. So, but yeah, no, it's one of those things that, like, yeah, they handled it very delicately within the dialogue, where like things were told to you, information was told to you. But again, like I was saying in our Matrix pod last week, if there was any exposition, none of it felt very noticeable. None of it felt very preachy. None of it felt very scholarly. Like you're sitting in class watching this bullshit. So
no, and there's barely any of it. And the character relationships, there's no exposition either. It's just straight up, this is what happens. The moment they meet, from there on in, everything else is kind of just that. And like as we said, it was only to explain that why they're moving away from the waterbed business is because there's a gas shortage. Also, I like that Paul Thomas Anderson just like picked like 1973 and then just put a bunch of shit from the 70s in there, being like the time of these things doesn't matter at all. Like
Yeah.
gas shortage is like 78 and this takes place in like 1973.
What was it? Was it that far off? I mean, I just trying to think because
Yeah.
I thought it was like mid 70s, like 75.
It was like
maybe.
78. It was like 78.
To Wikipedia, we will go where I
No,
will find out.
we don't need to go to Wikipedia. One thing I also really appreciate about it, and especially in contrast to Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was without question a love letter to that era of Hollywood, full cap. This was like a love letter to the sleaze of that era. Like,
Yeah,
this movie
yeah,
is very sleazy, and the least sleazy thing about this movie is a 15-year-old trying to aggressively hook up with a 25-year-old. That's like the least sleazy thing in the movie. Everything else about this is so sleazy, but it's undercut in such like a warm, vibrant way that you definitely don't notice how sleazy it is the first time. But me going into my third viewing, I was like, damn, this movie is sleazy. It is like all these people are just creeps. Like everybody they interact with is not a good person.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of those things that like the tone of the movie is so light and quippy and like very like very funny and very bright and energetic, and then you don't realize that like, okay, Sean Penn's character creep. Fucking Tom Waits' character is just like a crazy drunk, you know. You go on and on.
Yeah. So for that, so Tom Waits' character, hang on, I have the information written right here, was an homage to filmmaker Mark Robeson. His name was Rex Blau in the movie, but he directed The Bridge of Toko-Ri, Peyton Place, and The Valley of the Dolls. And he was partnered with Jack Holden, played by Sean Penn, who was an homage to William Holden, who's the star of Sunset Boulevard, Bridge on the River Kwai, The Wild Bunch, and Network. And he won an Oscar for Stalag 17. And Sean Penn was absolutely perfect in that role.
Yeah, he was very much of like very cocky, like full of himself actor. So
Grizzled
like,
veteran.
Yeah, like we were talking about sleaze earlier. Tom Waits, the great Tom Waits. You know what the Valley of the Dolls is about? It's just basically a California exploitation movie, but like all these crazy girls are getting into trouble in California. You know, like one of those kind of sleazeball movies.
It's one of the more famous sleazeball movies too from that era that's still around. And I want to keep on bringing up this word fever dream. So Alana auditions for some Jack Holden movie that he's going to be in, and he takes her out for drinks after, where, you know, his intention is just like, I've already bagged this girl, like I don't have to really talk to her. They're sitting at dinner literally reciting lines, and Cooper walks into the restaurant, and it's great tension between them because he's coming in with girls, Alana's there with guys, and the movie ebbs and flows. Like their relationship is great, then they get into a fight, and then they kind of separate, but they see each other from afar, and then they get back together, and then they fight, and so on and so forth. That's kind of the pattern of their relationship in the movie. And like Cooper Hoffman is, you know, as Gary, 15-year-old sitting in this like restaurant, and she's watching Tom Waits and Sean Penn have a sword fight with knives at a table at a fancy restaurant. And then Tom Waits out of the blue goes, "Yeah, I'm off to set up the film." And he sets up a motorcycle chase, like a motorcycle jump on the 8th green of this golf course, and everybody just comes running out, and Sean Penn does this motorcycle jump. Like this is a fever dream. That is absolutely insane. That 5 minutes notice, you'll come out, you've had like 4 martinis, you're gonna do a motorcycle jump right now. Great.
Great idea.
But that's the beauty of the movie, is that so much of it is very original but based in reality and put to such like a warm charm, like fulfilling feeling. But it's sleazy. It's a sleazy movie.
Well, no,
and
exactly.
it's got all that blurred together. It makes a wonderful pie of a movie.
a lot of that, a lot of the stuff in the movie is based on like real accounts that Paul Thomas Anderson himself discovered in California. Like that motorcycle scene you were just talking about right back there was inspired by a story that Paul Thomas Anderson himself heard as a kid. That Evel Knievel attempted to jump a number of vehicles on his motorcycle outside of a bar in the valley, but instead of making the jump, Evel Knievel drunkenly crashed into a parked car before he could make it into the ramp.
I wish we got that version.
Yeah, that would have been great. So we kind of say that a little bit in the movie where, like, Alana is on the back of Sean Penn and immediately gets flung off the motorcycle. But
And the last thing she whispers to him was, "Do you even remember my real name?" Because he was just calling her like the character she auditioned for the entire time.
yeah.
And you get the sense that that's his daily routine, is whatever girl that auditioned, he'll take her out to dinner and do whatever he would like to do with her and then never see her again. You got that sleazy
make her feel like she's the best thing in the world, and then the next day just ghost her.
yes, essentially. And she kind of saw through that. And then you get the nice running scene of Gary running to pick up Alana when everybody else was watching the motorcycle jump. There's a lot of running in this movie. That is maybe my one complaint. There's too much running.
A lot of running. It's basically characters running from one location to the next in a lot of scenes. And that's how he transitions. Like, this is how you don't need to see the character going from point A to point B all the time. PTA, come on.
Yeah, but like it's like Alana in like 4-inch heels, like running. It's like, please come on. She's not running in 4-inch heels. She's just not. It's just not happening. I know PTA. I understand this is a fairy tale set in the San Fernando Valley, but I don't care. I know.
But fuck your running.
yeah, that's right. I'm telling you, Paul Thomas Anderson, when you listen to this, release the no running edit of Licorice Pizza, and I'll call it a masterpiece.
That's your one thing that's making you give away from 5 stars. Just too much running.
Honestly, maybe, because it's really hard for me to be critical of this movie. I mean, you could be critical of the age thing. That's kind of your discretion. To me, it's just, I'm watching a movie. I don't know. Like, it's a story. It's not real. And I understand these real things happen, but if you're that offended, don't watch it. But for me, it's a movie, and the movie's a fairy tale. It's nowhere in the slightest real. And yeah. And in the sense of this kind of vignette story being told, the last waterbed that Gary Valentine ever sells is to John Peters, played by Bradley Cooper. And boy, oh boy, what a performance. By
John Peters. Oh, sorry to interrupt, but John Peters in general, played by Bradley Cooper.
I just said that, Tom.
Yeah, I thought you were about to get to it, but yeah. Bradley Cooper just came into the movie, shot his like little 15 to a quick heat check, and immediately was just like, okay, that's it, I'm in. And you're like, the whole time you're watching, it's like, why is John Peters not in this movie more? Can't we just have one more scene of him doing crazy shit like we saw in the trailers?
So this is his entrance here, and this is maybe not the best clip, but it's the only one I can find that's in good audio and not from like an illegal movie theater recording.
Are you in charge?
Yeah, I'm in charge.
May I just speak with you for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. You can tell your crew to stop.
Stop for a sec, guys.
So this is what I want to say to you. Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Do you know who my girlfriend is?
Barbara Streisand?
Barbara Streisand.
Sand.
Sand, yeah, like sands, like the ocean, like
Barbara
beaches.
Streisand?
No, like Streisand.
Sand.
Streisand.
Streisand.
Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand.
That's the only like really good clip I can find. But even in the trailer, like he says the line to Carrie. He's like, "I love it. I love Dale so much. I love it so goddamn much." And John Peters threatens him because there's the gas shortage. They arrive to the house late. He doesn't like strangers in the house when he's not there. Whatever. And they decide to just flood the bedroom because they're just like, he's an asshole. He threatened Gary's brother, who's one of like his cronies that helps him do all his shit. And as they're making their escape, John Peters is walking up because his Ferrari ran out of gas, and he runs up to they drive back up to the scene of the crime, where his assistant is very clearly running out to tell him what these people who just drove him up here was about to do, and he wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And then they drive back, and he just flirts with Alana the entire time, and it is unbelievable. And it's part of that tension where it just grows. And he like, they're trying to drive past the Ferrari, and he like jumps over Gary and like puts his crotch in Alana's face as she's driving this truck.
Yeah.
And he like leans into her, like essentially kissing her, being like, just a little more, just a little more, just a little more, like air humping her. Like, this dude is aggressively horny. I know John Peters is kind of a wild guy, and I know there's some stories about him. I don't know how horny he got, but man, oh man, in this movie he was horny to the max.
It wasn't that much of a like change from what John Peters was generally in Hollywood in the 70s. I mean, he pretty much Paul Thomas Harrison asked him for permission to film the scene with him in the movie, and he was like, "Yeah, cool, that's fine." He just like added a character moment that like, yeah, I would probably hit on Alana a lot if this was back in the 70s. Like,
That was his
John
note
Peters
in the
himself.
script.
Yeah, yeah, like I'd be hitting on Alana right here. So even John Peters knew of like what his bullshitness. Where like, dude, like the guy fucking, I looked this up last night. The guy was married to Pamela Anderson 2 years ago.
Are they still married? I would imagine.
No, that apparently was a 16-day relationship or something like that, or 16-day marriage. But still, this is the kind of guy that even is like, what, 60s or 70s at this point. John Peters is just a crazy motherfucker.
He's got that Hugh Hefner gene. You just can't tie a guy like that down.
Exactly. Now,
Bradley Cooper in this movie was just unbelievable. It was, Paul Thomas Anderson has this just innate ability to take actors and put them in this isolated scene that if you kind of chopped it from the movie, it doesn't really do anything. Like if you chop that whole sequence, you could get Alana to Joel Walk's office another way, or Wakes, whatever, however you pronounce his last name. But Paul Thomas Anderson has his way, and I think Boogie Nights is the best example of this with the Alfred Molina scene.
Oh yeah, that seems great.
Which is the drug deal scene from Boogie Nights with Sister Christian and Jesse's girl. It's just, which if you isolate the movie, it has no impact on the story, but in context of that movie, it's the energy the movie needs, and it's just a mini movie in the movie that you could just watch over and over and over again, and it's like 10 minutes long. And that's how I feel with that scene. This scene comes on anytime, I will be watching it on HBO, Showtime. You pick it, I'll watch it.
In the future. It's perfect pacing where it's just at this point in the movie's kind of going, and it kind of like, it's still fun, but in kind of a more like direction where it's like, okay, let's spice something, let's spice it up a little bit. Let's add in an element to this where it's like, okay, what the fuck just happened? What's going on? And John Peters is just pretty much a bull in a china shop where immediately Bradley Cooper's in the movie and you're like, I want to watch this. I need this.
Yeah, I agree. He is remarkable. It's one of his best performances, I think. And he's in the movie for 12 minutes. It's
at best.
And the best thing, the last time you see him, like, so they drive him to the gas station, they ditch him there. They have a whole adventure of like the car losing gas in the hills and Alana having to reverse the car down, which is some crazy stunt driving when you think about it. And the car ends up somewhere on one of the streets of LA. They walk to the gas station to get gas for it. And Alana's just like sitting by herself, like kind of dejected with her life because she's hanging out with a bunch of 15-year-olds. And John Peters walked by, literally smashes a window, and then sees two women walking in tennis attire to it. He walks by them, and then you just see him reverse chase around, being like, "Hey, ladies, oh, what kind of sandwich do you like? Do you like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? Yeah. Oh, how's your forehand?" You just like you hear this in the background off screen. It was Bradley Cooper must be pretty good with the ladies, I'd have to imagine. You know.
Well, John Peters in general, where it's apparently according to IMDb, take it with a grain of salt, but the two actors, Alana and Cooper, weren't aware that Bradley Cooper was even in the movie until that scene that we played earlier, where he walked up to him and it was just like, "Who's in charge?"
So Haim didn't know that that Cooper was going to be in it, and Cooper didn't know that Haim was in it.
No, Cooper. Both of them didn't know that Bradley Cooper was going to be in the movie until that scene.
So he just called up Bradley Cooper and was like, "Hey, it's COVID. You want to make a movie? Like, you want to be in this for like 15 minutes?"
Yeah, exactly.
All right, what am I doing? You're going to be a horn dog.
Yeah, you're going to be fucking John Peters, where Bradley Cooper's worked with John Peters before because of Stars Born, because that's Bradley Cooper's fucking John Peters' thing, rather. He's a producer partner on it.
I did not realize that John Peters. Wow, that's a good connection. So he had some insight. He had some firsthand insight into that horniness.
Yeah, exactly. So, and he's one of those characters, like I was saying before, where in Hollywood today, I mean, or even like, past his moment in this movie in the 90s, John Peters was known as being just a crazy motherfucker. Like, you've heard the story of how I told you this a little bit last night, but how John Peters owned the rights to Superman in the 90s, and he hired Kevin Smith to write Superman at the time. Right? I told you a little bit of this.
Well, we have an audience, so maybe you tell them.
Well, yeah. I was leading you into it. But anyways, so in the 90s, John Peters had the rights to Superman, and this was after Christopher Reeve and everything like that. And he hired Kevin Smith of Clerks fame to write the script, because apparently the only thing that got Kevin Smith the job was because he wrote a Star Wars show. But anyways, going on. So John Peters didn't know anything about Superman, and he pretty much said, "Fuck the lore, fuck everything about it." He hated most of the things about Superman. He told Kevin Smith, when he read the script, Superman can never fly, he can't appear in his trademark costume, and he wanted Sean Penn to play him because he thought that Sean Penn was a fucking caged animal, a fucking killer. So he didn't know anything about Superman.
Well, he was correct about Sean Penn being like a caged killer. That's pretty accurate. Also, I want to see John Peters Superman so badly. That sounds so awesome. Just everything you know about Superman out the window. I'm fully in on that.
Exactly.
I'm fully in.
My favorite part is that he wanted fucking Kevin Smith to write a giant spider into the movie. He said for no reason, but like, we need a fucking giant spider. This was like the 70s Coke effect coming still off John Peters right here. And over again until we saw so they scrapped the Superman project, and then 2 years later, fucking Wild Wild West, produced by John Peters, has a giant fucking spider in it.
I think I need to see every movie John Peters has ever produced, especially when he was in his drug field phase, because they all just sound pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
Did the drug field phase ever end? No question.
I mean, he's still alive, so maybe.
Possible.
I don't know. It's very possible. Yeah, the last person we got to touch upon is Benny Safdie, who is the director of Uncut Gems and Good Time. He plays LA Councilman Joel Wachs, who was a real person. And this is when Alana and Gary separate for the last time. He's in it for the last 20 minutes of the movie or whatever. And Joel Wachs is a homosexual. And there's like, first of all, the office that they were in gave me major Taxi Driver vibes.
That's what I was thinking the whole time.
That was a straight out of it, especially with the creep. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure who that was, but didn't it look like Matt Bomer if Matt Bomer was much taller?
I'm gonna pretend I know who Matt Bomer is.
He was Neil Caffrey in White Collar.
You acted like I've seen White Collar.
He was the guy. He was the best looking guy in Magic Mike, not named Channing Tatum. I know you've seen Magic Mike, Tommy.
I haven't seen Magic Mike either. I mean, I know Channing Tatum and Joe Magnolia.
Tommy, Tommy,
well,
you don't need to lie to me. You don't need to lie to me.
To Google I go, Matt Bomer.
Riveting podcasting here. Look at him go. His fingers are furious as he's typing
Straight up.
deep, looking for Matthew Bomer's face on Google.
All right, he was in a movie I've seen called The Nice Guys, but I have no idea who the fuck he is. Anyways, let's move on. Great podcasting right here.
Great podcasting, totally scripted. But
this is where we go.
But he is the character that looks like Matthew Bomer but taller. is there to, he's an enemy. He's basically being hired by whatever political opponent he has to confirm the rumors that he's gay, because when you meet Joel Walks, he's being interviewed and they're asking about how a man like him is still single and how he's a bachelor, and he's giving all these BS excuses. My time is spoken for. It's for the city. Who could even possibly keep up with my way of life? And he invites Alana to the restaurant, and Alana is a very floaty character, and she just goes to whoever she thinks might get her along farther. That's kind of a bit of a parasite, honestly, like a social parasite. And
she just goes to wherever she's asked, pretty much.
yeah, and I think it works too, because you need that floaty character. But he, who was the boyfriend, because he was great. Like, they sit down at the thing, and it's definitely set up like it's a date that she's going there, and then she gets to the table and they just start having a fight over it, and it's like, well, Joel, what about me? What about me? It's always about you, Mark. It's always about you. Now, I invited Alana here to have a drink for us. She was running late, and then you and your girlfriend Alana will be walking home. Oh, and that's to my place. Are you going to be stopping by my place? Can we just talk about this at another time, please? It was excellent. It was excellent. But I just
where it was another almost exposition thing where it's just very clearly explained, like, okay, these two characters, Benny Safdie his character's gay.
That's not exposition though. It was character. It gave you a full insight into his relationship. That's all it did. That's all it was, and that's why I enjoy it, because I think we don't get a lot of movies anymore that are just.
This movie was 100% character and like 0% exposition.
0% plot, and I think that's kind of the beauty of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is why I want to know one thing, Tommy.
I am a star. I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. I am a big, bright, shining star.
Who's the star of the show?
Well, first of all, Paul Thomas Anderson for finally being relevant on the star section. But
hey, nice shout out there. Yes,
exactly, right there. So that, anyways, I think the more I think about it, I had to take a second right there to think about it, because I didn't prepare for that. Even though I know it's coming. Cooper Hoffman, I think, honestly, because this is a weird movie where how many movies can you name where both of the leads you've never heard of? I mean, as an actor before, at least in the case of Alana, not that many. And Cooper and Alana to an extent, or not even to an extent, both were so great. And Cooper especially was just leapt off, the screen right there, and he just had natural charisma. He clearly inherited his father, Philip Seymour Hoffman's acting genes right there. And he was a very naturalistic actor, very funny, very charming, very witty, and like pretty much just blew me away. And I hope that he's going to be in more movies. Hope he, in this period, maybe he gets a good teen comedy out of him, or maybe we get more dramatic movies out of him. Whatever it is, I'm excited to see what's next for Cooper Hoffman.
Yeah, it's really hard to pick. I have to say, so who stole the show for me, it's Bradley Cooper. I mean, we talked about it before, but it's electric. If you don't really have an intention of seeing this movie when it comes out, just find it on wherever it's streaming. Skip to when Bradley Cooper makes his appearance in there. He's dressed in all white. You can't miss him. And just watch that scene and just enjoy life itself in those 12 to 15 minutes. Who won the movie? Who's the big star? I think it's Alana Haim. And I think there's a couple of reasons, because you made the John Peters connection to A Star Is Born. This movie isn't as big, but I think, especially with award season coming up, I think they're gonna try to give her the Lady Gaga treatment of like pop star turning actress, turning serious actress. I think people are really
She's
gonna
already been
respond to that.
nominated. She's already been nominated for the Golden Globe for this movie. I don't think she won, but still, they're very clearly pushing that performance, and she was great too.
She was, and she's the winner, because I think she'll get a lot more work than like Cooper Hoffman will, because Cooper Hoffman's just still young, like he's that role is so specific for him. I think he'll have a hard time finding leading roles in that age group where his style will work. Like,
Yeah.
and as he grows, he can probably take on more diverse performances. But for his first debut performance, it was excellent. And for his first, but it was catered to him. And I think that's
Yeah.
why it worked too well, because you have a master craftsman in Paul Thomas Anderson who knows exactly what he's doing. You
Yeah.
don't have to worry about a thing.
It's like I said earlier, but like the next thing for Cooper Hoffman is going to be really curious to see if he just waits to work with Paul Thomas Anderson again, or if he goes to the next teen comedy. But we'll see. I mean, I'm excited for both of them, really.
Where do you rank this in your Paul Thomas Anderson movies?
So, on the Paul Thomas Anderson movies I've seen Boogie Nights. I've seen Punch Drunk Love. I've seen Inherent Vice, and now this. So this might be obviously, like I said, I'm not very well versed in the Paul Thomas Anderson of it all, but this probably has to be a 1A, 1B with me with Boogie Nights, where both very similar movies that take place in the 70s are kind of mostly hangout movies. But I love this movie. It's the exact type of movie I love. The 70s era is something that I love the music of and everything, and the needle drops just worked for me right there. And yeah.
So for me, the only Paul Thomas Anderson I haven't seen is Hard Eight, his first movie, Magnolia, and Phantom Thread. I've seen everything else.
Okay. And where'd you rank it?
I think it's his most rewatchable movie by far. It's the movie I'll probably revisit the most, and the length is definitely a part of it. But it's a better rom-com than Punch Drunk Love by a mile, I would say.
Punch Drunk Love is more dramatic too than this, which is fine because it has Adam Sandler. But I agree. Like we said earlier, this movie is literally a series of vignettes, and I could easily see if I were the type to have cable, I could tune this on HBO and be like, "Oh, this scene's on. This scene's on. Oh, I gotta watch this scene." Over and over and over again. Where pretty much there's so many scenes that you're just thinking like, "I gotta see this part right now. Come on."
No, absolutely. So for me, I think Boogie Nights, there's just something magical about that movie and like the content of that movie and it working so well, and Burt Reynolds just being like the coolest motherfucker on the planet, that'll always just kind of be number one for me. But I think this is two. I think The Master is a better film. I think The Master is probably his best film.
I've never
overall.
seen that one, but
It's between that and There Will Be Blood for the best film. Inherent Vice is just like a trip and it's an experience and it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's very confusing, but if you just lean into it, you'll have a blast with it. But I think this is number two for me now. I think Boogie Nights is still number one for me, but yeah, this shot up my Paul Thomas Anderson power rankings. I love a good hangout movie. I love a movie with very little to do. And especially in an age of we have to go save the thing and X and Y and just running from planet to planet and this to that and city to city. It's just nice to take a breath and enjoy 1973 San Fernando Valley.
Are you ready, comedy partner? Waka waka.
Does this movie work as a Muppet adaptation?
No. This movie isn't wacky enough to be Muppet related unless you had Sam the Eagle playing John Peters. That'd be the only thing I could think of. That'd be great.
Sam the Peters. I was thinking Gonzo as John Peters. Gonzo's so weird.
Gonzo's so weird, but he's not intimidating enough to be John Peters in this movie.
That's true, but none of the Muppets they're Muppets. Like none of them are really intimidating.
Yeah, Sammy the Eagle, I guess, will be the closest comp to intimidating.
See, John, I don't know if John Peters was super intimidating in this movie, because I got the understanding that as long as you are not in his circle, there was nothing about you that he gave a shit about.
Yeah,
it was whatever was in front of him. That's all that mattered to him.
He was very one track minded, where he just go from thing to thing to thing, especially in the movie.
But yeah, I would agree. This probably doesn't work well as a Muppet adaptation. Unfortunately, it would be. What if Alana Haim was played by Miss Piggy?
Yeah, no. If it was Kermit, Kermit's like a 15-year-old frog.
No. It's still Cooper Hoffman and Miss Piggy. That's the movie.
That's the only change.
That's the only change. It's just Frank Oz voicing Miss Piggy.
I mean, you're acting like every time we do this category, I'm like, yeah, I'd probably see that movie.
Oh yeah. Well, this category is in here for us, and so the audience at home knows that we just love the Muppets.
There's an artist out there that our friend has gotten commissions from, where he does classic movie scenes, but complete with Muppets. So our friend got a specific commission that was the ticking of one Pelham 1, 2, 3 with the count saying 1, 2, 3. Like,
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we're gonna have to give him a shout out. I can't remember his name right now, but we will shout him out on Instagram later. Tommy, give me
Yes.
a rating.
Okay. So, like we said, a lot of my favorite movies are hangout movies. Like this, definitely. Dazed and Confused, Super Bad kind of movies that are pretty much just being in the moment of hanging out with these people and just like, oh, this is just really fun. I want to be friends with these people. I want to hang out with them. I wish I could be there with them. So this definitely was up there and definitely is in my top now 5, I guess, like hangout movies. So I have to give this a 4.5 out of 5. So there's not really much I can complain about this movie. From the whole entire time, it was just fun to be in this world, and I wish I could be in this world again. It's a movie that I could easily see myself rewatching, not even just for this random scene's on, but just in general, where it's just like, if this came out 10 years earlier, I probably would have watched this 10, 20 times. So I love this movie.
I echo your sentiment, Tommy. I'm a 4.5 out of 5. I think this movie is just I'm watching a master in Paul Thomas Anderson at his craft. We didn't go into everything, but the camera's never still in this movie. It's always moving, it's always panning, it's always zooming, it's going everywhere. The cinematography is just wonderful. It's so bright. It's so distinctly 70s without a sepia filter on it, which is just wonderful. I love that there was like no sepia, but it still looked very 70s. The music's great. Soundtrack's great. The performances are great. It's a hangout movie. You're going to enjoy yourself. You just have a beer, sit back and relax. A little popcorn. Exactly. That's all you're going to need for this movie. I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5. Easily my favorite so far that I've seen from 2021. And I could not recommend this movie enough.
Yeah, this is, I haven't seen it. 2 thumbs up. We're taking it from Roger and Ebert.
Oh, cringe. All right. Well, I'm Tim Sestito.
I'm Tommy Tabernac.
Thanks for sticking around with us. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you all next week when we cover High Fidelity. Have a good day, night, whenever you're listening to this.
Later.